Okay, so having heard all of our expert voices again, it's time to get to the questions, one by one. For introducing you to the first one, let me start with a statement. And it goes as follows. Being born in certain geographies at a certain time and into certain social groups is more advantageous in some cases compared to others. It's a hard statement to negate. Being born is a lottery. And the same applies to what language you are born into. An isolated language community in war-torn Congolese jungle would be, objectively, amongst the worst places to start your life in, due to many complex factors. And one of them, maybe not the most significant one, but after all a present factor, would be that language isolation. Many Westerners, especially the ones born in colonial or post-colonial states, kinda take for granted the imminent superpower they receive upon being born in their circumstance. The superpower to travel to another side of the world, but still understand what is being said and to be understood, to seamlessly do business with overseas. Probably most importantly, this superpower allows them to sound smart wherever they go, something that a speaker of only minor languages has to fight very hard for. But the world's language map is changing, and so are the factors that shape the level of privilege of being born here and there. So for our first question, we have put our guests into the following scenario. Imagine you're an alien refugee, coming from the other side of the galaxy. You wish to settle on planet Earth. Your intergalactic travel agency offers a deal. You can choose one language that would be installed into your head before landing. Which language should you choose? You're invited to play along. Pause and try to answer these questions yourselves. Okay, let's now hear what our guests made of this question.
British English, because British English is much richer than American English or any other English language. It has more words, basically.
I would say English, unfortunately. It has the most use. Yeah, you're going to be able to communicate with the most people with that one because combined first and second language users, it has the most.
If I arrived in this time, in this period, I would probably take English. That's what I would take first. And then I would, I had a second choice, it would be Spanish.
And I guess English is because it's so widespread, right? Yeah.
Lingua franca, I think if I'm coming from another planet, I need to navigate myself around here. What is the language that would get me around the quickest? I'm kind of thinking that.
Now, if any language that we traditionally call a language here on Earth gained any points with this question, it is English. Of course, we, as well as our guests, as well as you sitting there on the other side of the membrane, we are all biased. We already know English. Whatever you can understand fully always looks more significant and important. This bias is something to keep in mind throughout this episode. Having said that, English is the lingua franca at the moment. This is hard to negate. In 2013, it overtook Chinese as the most spoken language in the world, and it seems that the upward trend will continue, at least for a while. Anthony also touched on something interesting here, the richness of vocabulary. It must be noted that this is actually quite difficult to compare due to different grammars languages have. In some languages notably, many words can be put together to form a new one, making the total number of possible words absolutely immense. Instead, we should look at something like how many word roots does each language have. And according to most estimations, English is also leading this race. As a language of a world-spanning empire, English adapted to numerous environments, incorporated numerous local terms, and in the process enriched tremendously. If language does indeed play a role in our thinking, like we discussed with Guillaume in episode 1, this richer capacity for expression could potentially benefit speakers' ability not only to express thoughts, but to conceptualize in the first place. A more interesting take on the question has been given to us by Tomasz.
Imagine you're an alien refugee and you're moving to planet Earth. You can choose to install one language into your head before landing, but like completely instantaneous. You just install your language in your head, but which one should you install knowing that you just moved to planet Earth?
That is humanese, because all the languages which we use nowadays in the world are more or less variations of the very same biological capacity for speech. We produce phonemes, we attach arbitrary meaning to these phonemes, and we detect phonemes. In reality, we speak just one language in many dialects, if you want, a nice metaphor. Let's assume an alien, and in this alien world of mine, we are actually using chemical substances to communicate. Yeah. So, from my perspective, here on Earth, there is just one language, and the difficulty of comprehension between them, from my perspective, whereas an ET, I'm using different chemicals to communicate with my friends. It's a very little difficulty.